Good morning and welcome to EBEONADI 103.5 FM this morning, today, the 22nd day of March 2024. And today is a Friday. The time is 12 minutes past the hour of 7. We'd like to apologize for that break in transmission. It is for the sake of serving you better. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories, making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to political broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that a complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. This morning, we're going to take you through the news, making the headlines on The Guardian, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Post, The Sun, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at Nigerian Tribune newspapers. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Jonathan leads West African elders to Senegal election. 880,000 villagers quit open defecation in Northeast. Use toilets. El Rufai's visit to SDP share elicits defection rumors. NEPC, NAFDAC partner against rejection of agro produce. Poor infrastructure restraining investors from Abia, says OT. CHRICED seeks prosecution of indicted for alleged fraud. Surveyors tax government on local content, decry quackery, forgery. Why outcome of US poll won't affect relations with Africa. EFCC boss blames increasing corruption on neglect of values. Population of displaced children hits 1.8 million. ACF laws lifting of economic sanctions against Niger. ACF laws lifting of economic sanctions against Niger. US, University of Lagos partner to open window on American hub on campus. Pharmatrix, others win GTEX Africa competition. Police to tackle cultism, security in Imo secondary schools. NEC endorses takeoff of $617 million IDICE program. Lagos PDP Council Chairman Forum, Child Jando. Aeroland over misconduct. Stakeholders caution Oyo government over presumptive tax bill 2023 as assembly holds a public hearing. Adeleke urges panel to prosecute culprits of Oyetola's alleged corrupt contracts. Soludo to flag off 32.2-kilometer Ibadan circular road infrastructure today. Oyo government stakeholders tax Nigerians on better oral hygiene. Insecurity. Wike introduces TFA buses in Abuja. Okun group passes confidence vote in Ododo, Bello. Okun group passes confidence vote in Ododo, Bello. Zulum disburses 255.7 million naira food to CJTF hunters. Firm denies carrying out DNA test on Mohbad's son. 23-year-old lady goes missing after breaking fast in Bauchi Poli. Fubara urged to redeem 100 million naira bounty on killers of Ahuada, DPO. Foundation seeks survivor, inclusion of people with Down syndrome. CBN Agric Fund, Nexim, pushes recovery as the federal government moves to weed out fake farmers. Witness death. Emergency facility not compulsory in stadiums, Yakubu says. Suspected cultist kill man, pregnant wife in Delta community. 2 students nabbed for faking oak kidnap in Lagos. Residents protest sighting of gas plant in satellite town. EBHS Old Students Association launches 1 billion naira school endowment fund. Insecurity had bedeviled mining sector, says Alake. Terrorists kill 6, injure many in Castena. Hardship. Federal government moves to eliminate portfolios, political farmers nationwide. Tunjo Ojo advocates a focus on non-oil sector for economic development. El Rufai's aid speaks on defection rumors. Record number of UK children in poverty. Figures. Uber drivers arrested, cars impounded over access to database. Nigerian foreign airlines disputes CBN claims of settled FX backlog. Police arrest 4 producers of fake alcoholic drinks in Lagos. Lagos arrest hoodlums collecting bridge passage levy from pedestrians. Husband sues wife for getting pregnant for another man twice. Police launch campaign to tackle cultism, enhance security across 16 states. Kerosene price stands at 1,340 naira in February. Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Okun people pass vote of confidence in Ododo, Bello, APC. Troops eliminate terrorists disguising as police officers in Sokoto. Publish or perish. Nearly 200 research papers are partly written by ChatGPT study. Nigeria witnessed 735 mass kidnappings since 2019. Report. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. From the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to leadership newspaper. Jigawa, crucial in Nigeria's food security drive, federal government. Canada to cut temporary foreign workers intake amid immigration shift. Government officials caution against abuse of power. World Meteorological Organization predicts extreme weather conditions for Nigeria. Minister canvasses special funding for steel sector development. Nigeria's energy potential capable of opening path to prosperity. Photoshopping princess and perils of manipulation. Nigeria Security Civil Defense Corps naps 4 oil thieves, illegal miners in Akwa Ibom. Governor Bala flags off 2 billion naira Ramadan palliatives distribution. Civil society organization charges Tinubu on robust anti-graft strategy. ACF laws reopening of Nigerian Niger border, lifting of sanctions. Federal government assures diaspora Nigerians of participation in housing sector. Tinubu's painful policies will be beneficial to Nigerians. Minister, I don't care, says ex-governor El Rufai as he visits SDP headquarters. Para Assembly passes 6 bills, 30 motions in 9 months. NLC members picket Labour Party headquarters, demand Abure's sack. Jegede withdraws from Ondo governorship race, says it's time to rebuild PDP. Impeachment. Parties knock Edo Assembly for rejecting court summon on Chaibu. Labour Party, Otomi's third force movement, asks Abure to postpone convention. Tinubu's painful policies will be beneficiary to Nigerians. A minister, ex-DSS boss, 6 independent probe of troops killing in ex-DSS boss 6 independent probe of troops killing in Delta. Wike mobilizes contractors for 19 FCT schools repair project. FEM calls for investment in water filters. Caution in Gaza. That's the much we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. From the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to the Vanguard newspaper. As we await network on the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. FAAC, federal government, states, local governments share 1.2 trillion naira for February. Northern senators seek end to kidnappings, others. Insecurity, group asks Oyebanji to fix roads, deploy surveillance helicopters. APC fumes as Adeleke moves to prosecute Oyetola men over contracts. Fire guts Anambra market. PDP garners 259 million naira from Ondo governorship aspirants, adopts indirect primary. Benue Assembly rejects governor's nominee over Facebook post. Kebbi distributes over 12 billion naira grains for Ramadan. Navy deploys 7 ships, 2 helicopters for maritime safety. Kanu's family knocks Southeast politicians for abandoning IPOB leader. Kanu's family knocks Southeast politicians for abandoning IPOB leader. Army begins CNG conversion of vehicles, trains officers. Benue Assembly, we've taken this. Contractors doing shoddy jobs won't be paid. Niger Delta Development Commission warns. Ondo APC elders screens Ayedatiwa, 2 others for endorsement. Mandela Washington fellows seek better deal for women. Scores killed as bandits sack 9 Benue communities. 2023 peace accord stopped widespread electoral violence. Abu Salami committee. Diphtheria, 4 died, 28 hospitalized in Kanu. Enforce laws with human face. Coalition urges government. 29 billion naira fraud. Ex-Adamawa governor Nyako's 9-year-old trial starts afresh. Waba tackles Abure, says NLC owns Labour Party. U.S. consulate. NGO rally women to contest 2027 elections. Federal government confident in military strategy to free Kaduna students. Minister. Reps to strengthen diplomatic relations with Turkey lawmakers. Return to ECOWAS. ACF urges Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Return to ECOWAS. ACF urges Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. From the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. Obasanjo, Sultan, Uzodinma, Eno, others expected as item. Community honor her at 60. Obasanjo, Sultan, Uzodinma, Eno, others expected as item. Community honor her at 60. Lassa fever. Nigeria Center for Disease Control registers 20 deaths across 16 states. Northern Senators Forum calls for resolute action to tackle kidnappings. Ningi suspension. Our democracy losing meaning. Arewa group. Illegal mining. Federal government unveils mining marshals. Governor insists on state police. Governors insist on state police. Senate passes NYSC trust fund bill into law. Igbo leaders hold retreat over future of region. National Assembly passes Student Loan Act 2024. BVN, NIN linkage, give it more time to run. Catholic Church urges federal government. Senate seeks new strategies to tackle out-of-school children's menace. Slain soldiers, Diri Wali's support for military to fish out corporates. Edo, 8 political parties risk fielding candidates over INEC deadline. Why Abians are happy with Alex Oti Okere, ex-political advisor to Abia governor. Ondo Guba will leverage on scorecards of Governor Makinde Adeleke to campaign. PDP. APC issues 7-day ultimatum to litigants to withdraw court case against party members. Stanbic IBTC pension managers commit 100 million naira to renovate Yaba Psychiatric Hospital. Expert urges parents to ensure estate for dependents. Expert urges parents to ensure estate for dependents. Stakeholders differ on national carrier price fixing as air fares soar. Surge in cyber attack imminent. Security experts warn insurance firms. That's the most you can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. You are listening to newspaper headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. When I go for a short break, when we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on newspapers. Please stay with us.
Chineke ga-ezo ka mmiri otite mmanụ nke Chineke ga-asa agbụ n'ụzọ ga-ada ụda ịhụtụbeghị ụdị ya mbụ maka na ọ ga-adị ebube dịka ndị ụlọ ekpere Tabernacle of Praise Adoration Ministry dị n'Ụmụnnya ga-ewetara gị ihe omume ekpere abalị ga-ejupụta n'ike akụghị mmiri bụ nke ha kpọrọ One Night of Raw Power bụ nke isiokwu ya bụ Back to Sender. Ọgwụ ọjọọ ahụ a gwọrọ gị ga-alaghachikwuru onye gwọrọ ya. O mebiri ma chefughị ahụ e mere n'isi gị ga-echighakwuru onye mere ya. Ihe ọjọọ ọbụla onye iro mere n'isi gị bụ nke ga-alaghachikwuru onye iro ahụ mere ya. Ọ ga-adị n'abalị 29 nke ọnwa Maachị afọ 2024. Ọ ga na-amalite n'elekere 10 nke abalị ebe ọ ga-adị n'ebu n'ilo ndị ichie họl dị n'Ụmụnnya. Onye Chineke ga-ejitọ ndị mmadụ na-agbọ n'ọgbakọ ekpere abụ Apostle Dr. John Ọka. Dịka ị na-abịa cheta aja ezinụlọ gị wee bịa. Ihe ọjọọ ndị ahụ niile e mere n'isi gị aghaghị iburu Jizọs ikpere n'ala maka na aha Jizọs Kraịst ka ikpere niile ga-egbu n'ala. Jizọs bụ eze.
Love by bread, Egyptians and Venetians, love by bread, energizing and refreshing, love by bread, the aroma is so yummy, love by bread, it's a bread for the family, sweetie, sweetie, love by bread, yummy, yummy, love by bread, sweetie, sweetie, love by bread, yummy, yummy, love by bread.
Love by bread, the family food produced under a good hygienic environment with NAFDAC approval. Love by bread produces enough milk and honey that makes it sweet and yummy. Love by bread energizes, refreshes, and nourishes the body. It's a family love by bread. The product of Love by Foods and Beverages Limited in Love, located at number 1 Umotu Manufacturing, Ugolo in your Anambra State. Phone 0814 982 8254. Love by bread. Eat healthy, live healthy.
Sweetie, sweetie, love by bread, yummy, yummy, love by bread.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets? our community, our society in general. Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be. Government, Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin IFEANYICHUKWU, as number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Martin EBEONADI corner 24/7, 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. We are on to the Vanguard newspaper. NLC leaders stole workers' salaries during invasion. Abure. Presidential system breeds corruption. Gani Adams. Ogun Assembly passes resolution to restructure Amotekun Corps. Renewal of devotional life. Contacts with Quran. Power outage. Traders lament increasing cost of fueling generators. Federal government discusses submarine cable protection with ITU. Safe Schools Project. Standard operating procedure ready soon. Chief of Defense Staff. Killings. Okuama women. Children trapped in forest for 6 days. Naira down to 1,480 Naira per dollar in parallel market. Drug trafficking. Court jails Lagos socialite convicted friend. 15 years. Drug trafficking. Court jails Lagos socialite convicted friend. 15 years. FX backlog. Show evidence of payment. Foreign airlines tells federal government. Edoguba. 8 parties yet to nominate candidates with 3 days to go. INEC. NLC under Ajero destroying successes Labour Party recorded in 2023 general election. Abure. Explainer. Why is NLC at war with Labour Party? NLC. Labour Party. Trade war over picketing of party secretariat. Suits challenging Igodalo's candidacy. Court to deliver judgment April 30th. Allen Onyema, consistent trailblazer. Tantita, rescuing economy from the jackals. Over 15 killed. Residents flee as herders attack Benue communities. Police arrest 2 undergraduates for faking their kidnap. IPOB, Igbo leaders have abandoned Kanu to die in detention. Family cries out. Troops kill terrorists who disguise as police officers in Sokoto. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. From the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. APC directs members to withdraw court cases in 7 days. Benin Lokoja Road, BUA gets tax credit contract on 60-kilometer stretch. Federation Account Allocation Committee disburses 1.15 trillion naira to federal government. States cancels excitement as awaits rollout of red line coaches. Tinubu, security challenges over soon. They can't defeat us. Alake launches mines security apparatus. Alake launches mines security apparatus. Food insecurity. Federal government to ban portfolio. Political farmers, says minister. Alleged Mambila fraud. AGF didn't give EFCC fiat to prosecute me, says Aguloye. Insecurity. Fear of abduction negatively impacting education, says Abai. ACF hails Tinubu for reopening Nigeria's border with Niger. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Alleged 29 billion naira fraud. How Malami ruined Buhari's bid to free Nyako by Audaka. 3.1 billion naira fraud. Benue ex-governor Suswan trial begins afresh. Nigeria more transparent than ever. Tinubu tells ISSB boss. Oti assents to bill repelling pensions to former Abia governors, deputies. Pinnick, Davido to settle out of court. Oti assents to bill, we've taken this. Withdraw all cases or face sanctions. APC orders members. And National Economic Council, OK's takeoff of $617 million IDICE program nationwide. Kidnapped Kuriga students will be rescued soon. Minister. Union demand debt relief for African nations. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. From the Nation newspaper, we'll flip over to this day newspaper. Federal government to Meta. CBN, we have settled all valid forex backlogs. Tinubu, those alleging malicious entitlement, embezzlement of budget didn't understand the arithmetic. Tinubu, those alleging malicious embellishment of budget didn't understand the arithmetic. Oborowore to traditional rulers, if you shield criminals, you are inviting trouble. Federal government to Meta, Nigeria ready with gifted youths to lead Africa in digital technology vision. Federal government, states, local governments share 1.1527 trillion naira from gross revenue of 2.326 trillion naira. Federal government, states, local governments share 1.1527 trillion naira from gross revenue of 2.326 trillion naira. FRC warns corporate entities against falsifying statements on sustainability reporting. Tinubu, those alleging malicious embellishment, we've taken this. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. And quickly, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian lecturers launch initiatives to entrench solution journalism. Fasting in the month of Ramadan. GTCO Food Drink Festival set for 3-day culinary for peace. Niger Christian Association of Nigerian Chairman tells Nigerians Gateway Trade Fair will drive economic growth. Sofela. Bauchi Nigerian Association of Women Journalists emphasizes crucial roles of women in nation building. Tinubu places temporary ban on foreign trips by ministers. Others. Insecurity. Chief of Defense Staff flags up guidelines for Safe School Initiative in Abuja. World Kidney Day. Foundation offsets medical bills of patients in Niger. 2024 MPA 6 reps approval for 630 billion naira budget proposal. Federal government urges synergy between military, paramilitary for national security. FCTA begins rehabilitation of public schools. Chief of Defense Staff General Musa reiterates armed force commitment to secure Nigeria. Deceits from blaming SGF for failure. Youth tell Governor Alia. And that's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. We'll now flip over to our WhatsApp portal for reactions. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message coming from Comrade Manley Oduogo from Odumobosi, and it says, with the present unfolding scenario, our dear country, Nigeria, is sick. Her disease are legion. For peace to reign in Nigeria, Nigeria must discover a requisite cure for her cancer. Like all search for medical cures, the effort has to be made in 3 dimensions to prevent, control, and cure. The business of finding an urgent cure to Nigeria's illness is the business of all Nigerians. A situation where 9 Nigerians and 6 Bureau de Change establishments are wholly in the unwholesome business of sponsoring terrorism and terrorists, and the government of the day is dancing away, may not be the best for Nigerians. The problem today is that we are neither united nor diverse. We are in limbo. Let me unequivocally say, the choice is there. Only Nigerians can decide. Comrade Manley Oduogo from Odumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Agunabo. He's joining us from Opa Aguluzibu, and he says, I'm in saga to fish out killers sacrosanct, but to kill the masses and burn houses is basically terrorist act, and terrorist bandits kidnapping have to stop. If our combined gallant soldiers and police will enter all our butches to destroy the hideout of hoodlums and killing in Benue State. Have to stop. Enough is enough. And he says, market burnt in Onitsha. May God grant them heart to bear the loss of the cost of living. Saga continues. We are watching as things continue to unfold. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from the boss, and he says, we still have hope in Nigeria. Tinubu and his government is okay. Your message is not complete, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from White Lion of Africa, and he says, Edo State 2024, the impeachment move against the Deputy Governor Chaibu, a waste of time. Anambra State ex-Governor Nyako arraignment is a welcome development. People should learn to account for public funds. APC should forget about winning any state in the coming elections. Their policies have affected the masses. Tinubu and APC can't transform Nigeria. We need God's intervention. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Waloto Patrick from Munteje, and it says, let me use this opportunity to urge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to equally order for immediate reopening of every other border in the country, just as he ordered for the reopening of Niger Republic border for the say. Whatever that is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. Also, I want to advise NLC chairman to face his business as a civil servant and stay away from party politics. Otherwise, he will be humiliated by politicians. Waloto Patrick from Munteja, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It is coming from Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson, and he's joining us from 3-3. And he says the federal government should restore peace and security as Okuama women, children trapped in forest for 6 days. Northern senators seek end to kidnappings. Others is a welcome development because it's getting out of control. OT, science law, stopping pensions of Abia ex-governors, deputies is a welcome development. Engineer Ebuka Joshua Dawson from 3-3. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Opaka, from Akpo, and it says Northern senators call to stop kidnapping is laughable. They should remember that an injury to one Boko Haram is an injury. And he says it's better for them to be stoic and continue with their kleptomaniac. And he says food insecurity in Nigeria, obviously caused by political farmers. Truly, Nigerians are suffering under the Tinubu's administration. It's now clear to Nigerians that leadership is different from politics. Obaka from Akpo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Valentine Edene from Mpo, and it says security challenges are escalating on daily basis, and most of security agencies are pursuing shadow due to sabotage in them. And it says it's my turn to rule without agenda brings a rapid downfall of Nigeria. Valentine Edene from Mpo, thank you so much. And he says TGIF, happy weekend. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Christian Ufondo from Onitsha. And he says Tinubu's painful policy will be beneficial to Nigerians. This is a transparent lie. How do you think that it will be easy for a dead man to come to life again? Tinubu has nothing to offer, and I put it to those of people clapping for him that whatever bad that may befall this country are from them. And he says the state governors that are wasting their limited time on the state police should know that this is Nigeria, where the leaders do not think about those they are leading. Rather, they focus on how to accumulate wealth for their unborn children. State police saga will never gain ground because it will go against the killer herdsmen policy of kill Christian. And he says the federal government would never allow such a thing because our president would not like to hurt the feelings of his overlords. And he says Igbo elites and all the Igbo prominent Igbo sons and daughters should do fasting to see Nnamdi Kanu release. Okay, should do fast to see Nnamdi Kanu release, because if the man happens to die in the prison, bet you me, everybody must perceive the order, and there must be no peace in the southeast. And then, okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message is coming from John Ume, and he says he is reaching us from Okozu, and he says we are talking of how to cut down the cost of governance in Nigeria, while our legislators under Tinubu's directive are increasing the salaries of the judicial officers to several millions of naira. How can a country that finds it difficult to meet the needs of university lecturers and new minimum wages for workers, poor budget allocations to our educational system, our security system, our power sector, and so many unresolved issues in some ministries and parastatals will be talking of increasing the salaries of our judges? The reason for this increment of their salaries is to thank them for a job well done for denying Obi the mandate Nigerians gave to him. John Ume from Okozu, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from Chike Obata from Obinititi Okozu. And it says, terrorists attack Kanu residents. Please let President Tinubu look into all these insecurity happening every day here in Nigeria. Why can't President Tinubu and federal government put hands to stop this killing every day in Benue? Or are they happy about the Benue killings? Let them remember that these are human beings, or their kids was killing every day, unless they want the state to demolish all. Kudos to Governor Alex Soti for his good work in Abia. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we'll flip over to our Facebook portal, where we have this message coming from Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara from Owerri, and she says, being a governor for 4 or 8 years is not pensionable and not in the constitution. They are not civil servants that get pension after 35 years of service. We allowed a lot of illegalities and unacceptable things in this country. These are leaders who have accumulated so much while in office under a just God. It is immoral and conscienceless to collect pension. All they need is severance allowance. I commend Governor Oti for the feat which others should emulate. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara. On our SMS portal, we have this message is coming from Sir White from Nisi, and he says, a caution in Gaza attack by USA to Israel is a good advice. Despite the fact that I support Israel, they should stop the killings of civilians. Okay, from Sir White Nisi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. On our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message that says, I commend President Tinubu for banning ministers traveling with a public fund. This step, he needs to cut the cost of governance. He should also merge some ministries and some commissions together to save more. Again, Waba stated that NLC owned Labour Party. That statement is ridiculous. How can civil organization have a political party and still claim to fight for welfare of common men? NLC should stop properly. NLC should be properly guided. Kenneth Ndubisi Okafor from Mourns, Umunachi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Also on our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have a message coming from Obiora from Okozu, and he says, "Army review how to fish out the killers of their members in Niger Delta. Why Nigerians are so wicked after Army had killed and raised houses in Niger Delta? Who again are they looking for? Why federal government and security agencies are making fun of themselves to the world? I know that Nigeria are going through recreation. After God has finished his creation, federal government and security agencies want to give people from other country land and make them indigenous. That's why killing of citizens continues." Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning now. This is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock. So keep a date and don't touch the dial of EBEONADI 103.5 FM. Once it's 8:20 this morning, we'll be back with Birthday Splash. Till we meet again, I am Martin. Have a fabulous morning.
The Easter season is here. Holy Ghost Adoration Ministry UK Anambra Nigeria presents Holy Week Camping Program to end the Lenten period. Date Sunday 24th to Saturday 30th March 2024. Venue Blessed Iwonetans Shrine Umudioka. Host Reverend Father Emmanuel Obima Ebemonso. Come and receive the resurrection power Ikembulenu in all aspects of your life. For lodging and accommodation, please call 080-3636-9968. Connect with us live on Facebook and YouTube at Father Ebemonso, spelled as FADA space EBUBE space MUONSO. Come and see God in action.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on EBEONADI FM, who will, as the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be?
Our government,
whatever. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin IFEANYICHUKWU, as number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on EBEONADI 103.5 FM as street reports on foods in your face. On EBEONADI corner 24/7, 24/7.
Okay, guys, thank you. Like, subscribe, and share, right? Hit the subscribe button right here. Remember to check out my book on Amazon.com, Hip Hop and Igbo Culture by yours faithfully, Martin IFEANYICHUKWU Ekezie. Thank you. You rock. Dalo.